Should we have an intro?
This is our podcast intro.
Let me tell you why I hate you, Sofia. This is how we're starting the episode. I don't give a shit about the intro. Every single fucking time I answer the phone as of late, I have to fight the fucking urge to go, hello, when I answer the fucking phone.
Hello.
For those of you that don't know, that's what stupid ass Sofia says all the time. She changes all of her vowels to so she'd be like herler, ermergerd, and like
Haters
fucking
gonna hate.
all this
Hurter's
shit
gonna hurt.
like that. And I'm like, oh, you're so stupid and annoying. Stop doing that shit. And then I told mom, I had this topic on my notes for like 2 weeks already. And it's not the one I was talking about earlier. I still have another topic that's been on my notes for 2 weeks.
Oh,
But
I was about to
answered the
see
phone.
if it was on here.
I answered the phone and I was
Hello.
like, oh, I hate Sofia. And she was like, why? And she laughed. And I was like, cause I have to physically stop myself from saying hello when I answer the phone.
Hello.
And she started laughing her
I
ass
texted in the
off.
group chat too. In the group chat, usually our oldest sister, she'll text us like the first one. She's always like, good morning. And then good morning. And then sometimes if I see it like in the morning, I'll be like, good morning. Because I'm already like at the hospital and sometimes I just won't notice it. And sometimes I'll go, hello, like HELLUR. Yeah.
So I was telling mom,
Anyways.
and I was like, I have to stop myself from saying hello. And she starts laughing her ass off. And I was like, she's poisoned me. I'm just used to her saying it because I've never said it. Like, I've never conceded and been like, yeah, you know what? You're right. It is fun saying
You
that.
want to
I'ma
be
say it
me,
now.
but you can't be me.
You know what I mean? Anyways, that's why I hate Sofia, guys. Other than that, hi, welcome back. This is HTS Podcast. I'm Oscar. This is my sister, Sofia. If you can't tell, we don't like each
I'm
other.
amazing.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
That's so rude.
Hold on. Let me do this again because I started pointing the mic somewhere.
Hold on.
What's up, guys? Shut up. I'm doing the intro. What's up, guys?
I stopped
I'm
talking.
Oscar. Oh, you're still talking now. What's up, guys?
No, I wasn't.
See how you are? See how she's still talking? She does it on purpose. But she is that
No,
dumb.
I don't.
What's up, guys? I'm Oscar. This is my sister, Sofia. I don't like her. She doesn't like me.
That's rude.
Anyways, this is our podcast.
Sometimes true.
The HTS
Not right
Podcast.
now. I'm chilling.
Shut up!
This is our podcast.
The HTS. No I. If you don't get it, you're not one of the OGs. But the OGs all get it. Anyways, we talk about a bunch of stuff. We tell stories and jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And we make each other laugh.
This is my podcast, and Oscar's my guest. Moving on. So, we have, I guess he's like an uncle. He's like a family friend, but like he would come over all the time. JR.
Oh.
Anyways, JR. Oh, something fell.
According to Mexicans, he's our uncle.
junior?
He's our dad's
Some
cousin.
people.
He's our dad's cousin, so technically he's our cousin once removed, but Mexicans call him our uncle.
Anyways, you remember, and he is from, because we live in a border city right now, right? So we're right across from Juarez,
Mexico.
and he only spoke Spanish. Like he understood English like a bit, but he didn't speak English. You know what I mean? He only ever spoke to us in Spanish, and he would always come to our house. He would always visit on Thursdays, and we would call it like Spanish Thursdays, right? And there was this
Is that
story
why you started
with him
Spanish
specifically.
Thursdays?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were
didn't
just
know
an
that?
annoying asshole.
No, it was because he would come. It's because he would come in on Thursdays. But no, listen. There's this story with him specifically where like words in English would confuse him, right? Specifically, keys and kiss, because he was like, it sounds the same. Like, it sounds the same. What do you mean? Can you hear me, Oscar?
The FaceTime froze.
I don't think he can hear me.
I
Or if
don't
he
know,
can,
Sophia
I
can
can't
see
hear
or
him.
hear me,
It's a little
but I'm
like.
sure she's still talking. No,
It's
if it
up,
froze on her side,
I'm
she's
just gonna
just
wait till.
totally
Oh,
freaking out
he hung up on me.
and is like, "Oh my god, what happened?"
This happened.
Oh shit, she hung up.
Every
She's
year.
calling me back.
And by every year, I mean every time.
I'm eating grapes.
It's okay. He'll call me again eventually. Guys.
I felt like that reminded me of Elf when he's in the doctor's office and he's eating the fucking cotton balls and he takes it and he's like, "Oh." Sophia,
This
you're
is a
supposed to
plum.
FaceTime me.
Ah, he's calling again. I can't see your face, but if you can hear me, that's good enough.
Go.
He'd come on Thursdays, right? And there's a story with him specifically that he couldn't understand the difference between keys and kiss. And I like in English,
He
right?
couldn't hear
And he
the
was like,
difference.
he couldn't hear the difference. He's like, it sounds the same. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, you're crazy. Not you're crazy, but like I was like, it does not sound like the same. They're clearly two different words. But recently I've been trying to learn more Spanish, at least with so that I could like when I'm at the hospital, like with Spanish patients, I could like talk to them, you know what I mean? And Mom said, this happened just yesterday. She said, fall and shit. Those are two different things, two different things.
Mom told
But
me
she
about
said them
it.
in Spanish. But she said them in Spanish. And I swear I was like, oh, I get it now.
Fall like
and
fall down,
with that
not
one,
fall like the season.
yeah. And it was, I think the difference was like a G and like a Y. It was like cagaste and callaste.
And how is it?
Callaste.
I don't know. I heard the words. Mom had told me them, but I can't remember.
Anyways, but it was the same. And then also with like just pronunciations, like
Cuatro en cuarto.
my mom, they were trying to like teach me how to, what was it? I think it was liver in Spanish, and it was like, oh, I already forgot it. They just told me yesterday.
No.
It was hígado. Yeah, it's hígado, right? But I was saying hígado, and they're like, that's not it. And I was like, it sounds the same. And they're like, no, you're putting the enunciation like in the wrong place. And I was like, what do you mean? And anyways, it was hard. And I was like, I feel bad for like ever making fun of him, because he would say that and I would tell him, I'm like, you're crazy. Like, no, it's clearly different. And now I'm like, I get it. I get it now.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. Like, they really are. But anyway, so that's one story. The second story also has to do with Spanish, and it was funny. It was so funny. But anyways, so yesterday I was asking my dad, I was like, how do you say like different words, specifically like organs or like medical like terms, I guess, in Spanish, so that I can like communicate like with the patient, right? And so I was like, how do you say liver? And he was like, hígado. And I was like, how do you say this? How do you say that? Right? And there were some of them where he was like, oh, like actually I'm not really sure, let's look it up on Google Translate. And I was like, and so I was like, how do you say abdomen in Spanish? And he was like, he looked it up, and the little like Google voice was abdomen, and they say it like abdomen, like they have like a an accent, right? Yeah. Or like, no, like an emphasis, but like always in the same place.
That's
and then I was
accent,
like, okay,
Sophia.
how do you say?
Not an accent
yeah,
like you say words wrong. An accent like to accentuate.
Yeah.
Fucking dumbass.
And then I was like, how do you say pelvis? And then he said it. He like looked it up, and then he read it, and he went pelvis. And I was like, why are you saying it like that? And he was like, I was saying it how I think that the Google lady's gonna say it. And I was just like, okay. And then he played it, and she went pelvis. And I was like, oh my God, you sounded exactly the same. Like, you actually did. And then we laughed, and it was funny, right? And then I asked for like another word. I think I asked for like kidneys, and he was like riñones. I still kind of fuck that one up sometimes, but I think I say it good enough to where they understand what I'm saying, right? And then he asked me, he was like, oh, how do you say celeste in English? And then I went, estúpida. And then he started laughing. He was cackling. He was laughing so much. And I was like, I know it was funny, but like, that's a lot of laughing. You know what I mean? Like, I expected to get a laugh out of him, but I didn't.
But, you know, not that much.
Yeah. And then he was like, look, I looked it up. And then he placed this, like, the Google, like, lady, and she goes, idiota.
That's funny.
And that's why he was laughing so much, because we were both like, yeah, this is dummy. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, because I don't know what he thought I was going to say, but, like, we were just, like, so in tune with, like...
making the same fucking joke. Like
yeah. And it was so funny. And it's also, I was thinking about later, I was like, he should have said, because the English way of pronouncing celeste is Celeste. So what he should have done was, how do you say Celeste in Spanish? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's too easy, though. Well, I mean, no, not really. Anyways.
But anyways, that happened.
We should tell
really funny.
About Celeste. So our sister, Celeste, is our older sister.
Mm-hmm.
She has the thing, apparently. We found out about it a long time ago, and I still kind of don't get it, but I don't worry about it because it doesn't happen to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. You don't know
also,
that this is what I'm going to talk about.
I can't see yours.
When I say it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, she does do that. right? Apparently, everybody outside of the family, her whole life, has called her Celeste as opposed to Celeste.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I told
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But we all call her Celeste. And it's like a thing for her where she's like, nah, my family calls me Celeste and my friends call me Celeste. So, like, if I or Sofia calls her Celeste, she'll be like,
She gets like, all
oh, don't call me
uncomfortable.
that. That's not my name, or that's not like who I am to you. You call me Celeste. But I don't think it's the other way around. Like, I think she gets a little weirded out when we call her Celeste because she's like, ugh.
Just because we've called her Celeste our whole life.
She's like, ugh, why? But I don't think she
It's like
necessarily
if you
gets
started
bothered.
calling me Sophie.
I don't think she
You know
necessarily
what I
gets
mean?
bothered if outside family members call her Celeste. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just with us.
No, yeah, I agree.
Like with us,
I think
she's
it's
just
just
like,
us.
nah, like I can't take Celeste from you. Like that's not working. Stop it. But I mean,
Yeah.
but we never do it because we're so used to it. Like we've never called her anything other than Celeste, and then that one nickname. But that shit sounds weird. But it's not like she's never had that many nicknames. Like Sofia has had I've had like a million nicknames. Sofia's had like a good 5. But Celeste has always just been Celeste. You know, she's old.
I call her Tete.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, but
Sometimes.
I wasn't gonna say
Oh,
it.
yeah. What's it called? Oh, I call her Tete. Just because when I was young, I guess I
that
couldn't
was the only
pronounce,
nickname
like,
we ever
Celeste.
had for her at some point.
Yeah, so I would call her Tete. And then I also call her Tete every now and then. Sometimes. If I'm in a particular mood.
I know.
But anyways, yeah. No, yeah, but I get it though, because like if you started calling me Sophie, I would be like, brother,
Have people ever called you Sophie?
Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't tell you that story? Listen, my first job, I used to work at Wendy's, right? And my manager, he like clearly knew my name because like he has to write it down and like make the schedule and like stuff like that. But he was like, oh, like, does anyone ever, he asked me, he's like, does anyone ever call you like Sophie? And I was like, no, not really. Like I've had a couple people call me that, but I would say like a majority of people not really in my life. And he was like, do you like not like it? And I was like, no, it's not that. Like I think it's cute. Like I just, people just usually call me Sophia. And he's like, I'm gonna call you Sophie. I'm like, okay. Like I really didn't care. I was just like, okay. You know? And so he'd call me Sophie, and he'd be like, oh, Sophie, can you whatever? Oh, Sophie, so blah, 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 blah. Right? And then everyone else just started calling me Sophie too. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And like Wendy's has been the only job where like everyone called me Sophie. Come to find out a little later, like they always posted the schedule like on the beginning of the week, right? And the beginning of the week happened, and they're like, guys, I think we have someone new. And I was like who? I was like, what do you mean, like who? They're like, yeah, like Sophia, look. And I was like,
who's this Sophia person?
I was like, what do you mean? And I just laughed because I thought they were joking.
Yeah.
You know? And they're like, no, yeah, like, who is that? And I was like, that's me. And they're like, no, your name's Sophie. And I was like,
no, it's
no.
not.
I was like, you asked me what my name was, and I told you it was Sophia. But since I kept hearing our manager calling me Sophie, they just started calling me Sophie. And I was just like, no, like, my name's Sophia. Sophie's a nickname. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yes. Granted, this particular person was really stupid. And they did not do drugs at work and were not high when we were having this conversation. But I was just like,
nah, that's very much needed context.
That's different. No. Yeah, that's yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, because I do think it's a bit much. Like if it was just like, you don't see any other Sophie, there's only a Sophia, I feel like you should have put 2 and 2 together like a normal person. But you know what I mean? But no, but then he started asking everyone, he was like, do you know her name's Sophia? And they're like, and like the consensus was no, they didn't. They all thought my name was Sophie. And I was just like, okay, that's fine, I guess. Like, it's all good.
Freaking
but
idiots, bro.
Very funny. Yeah, because it was the first Wendy's that I worked out. Because I worked at this one and then I got transferred over to another. Yeah, but yeah. So,
anyways,
Sophie.
That's fucking hilarious.
People did call me Sophie. Yeah.
Fucking
Isn't that
idiots.
funny? Like, I'll think about it every now and then. I'm just like, you dummy.
You know what makes me laugh? You know that episode of Bob's Burgers where they're doing the food truck and then the one person calls Tina Dina, and then she like has this whole identity crisis of like, yeah, Tina does this and this, but Dina is way more fun and blah blah. That shit happens to me. Like that's kind of how I feel.
Who's your more fun?
No, hold on.
With what?
Hold on, goddammit. Like I said, I have like a million nicknames, and I'm very, very much open to having more, as long as it's not in like a patronizing kind of condescending way where you're just calling me some stupid shit
Hi,
because you feel like it. You know what I mean? Like if you genuinely think like
Oscar.
it'd be cool if this was your nickname, then like I'm cool. Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Oscar.
Because I have
I'll
a
go.
bunch of nicknames from all sorts of like different members of almost every, I think, not necessarily person in my family, but group calls me something different, right? Like when my mom and my dad call me.
We call him dumbass.
No, like my dad calls me Roscoe, right? Because it's an anagram with Oscar. So my dad calls me Roscoe, and then my mom, in this sort of like babying motherly way, calls me Bosco, because it's like Roscoe, but just like
Bosco.
right? Bosco. And then like most everybody in my family calls me Little Oscar because my dad's name is Oscar. But then like Amber and Leslie call me Oscarito.
How else are we supposed to differentiate
But
them,
Amber,
you know?
everybody, he's Big Oscar, I'm Little Oscar. That's been our whole lives, right? Or my whole life. And then Amber and Leslie call me Oscarito because Amber's called me that since she was little, right? And then fucking Betty and Coco call me Little One. And then fucking Canelo calls me Chispis. And then whoever, Hannah calls me something else. I don't remember what it is, but she does call me something like, I don't remember what it was. But it is something like distinct. And then like Misael used to call me Otter, right? Because like Oscar Otter, it kind of rhymes, but then it was like, but that was when we were like kids. And then fucking, I've had like a bunch of nicknames. My dad used to call me Ox at one point, just from the O thing, right? And then he said I was strong, and I was like, yeah, right? Anyways.
I call Big Oscar Big Ox.
Yeah.
Like he's not in my
But that
contacts.
comes from him calling me Ox.
From you, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Or what does Carla call us?
Oh,
There's another one that Carla like uses for the two of us.
Yeah.
And Big O doesn't like. Not that he doesn't like
it?
it, but it's like, why did she say that? Or she says shit like, oh no, Carla calls me Little Ox. She addresses me as Little Ox.
Little Ox, yeah, she calls you Little Ox.
And then Big O's like, why do you call him Little Ox? And she's like, because he's Little Ox and you're Big Ox. And he's like, no, he's just Ox. He's the only one that's ever been called Ox. So he's not little and big. Nobody calls me that. You know what I mean? But anyways, my point is like, I'm very, very open and welcoming to new nicknames. Like I've told you before, you know how like, no, I'm not going to say this because I want this to happen on its own, but I don't want someone to see it and then do it. But I've told you before. I'm pretty sure you know.
I'm pretty sure I know too.
You know what
you're talking about right now.
So anyways, like that would be cool, but I'm waiting for someone like, hey, does anybody notice that? And whatever, right? But that happens where like if someone has a new nickname for me in my head, it's kind of just like there's the very smallest, slightest opportunity to like not have a new identity, but just like in some weird way they view me a little differently than the next person does, right? Because like have you ever heard like a different version of you exists in everybody's mind? Because like your parents know this side of you, your friends know that side of you, your siblings know this side of you, you know what I mean, and that sort of thing. And so it kind of just
and
leans
no one
into
knows
all that.
The real you.
Yeah, and so it kind of just leans into that sort of idea.
It's so dramatic.
So like there was I was working at the car wash at one point and we were in the tunnel and it was loud as fuck, and then the dude was like, oh, what's your name? And then I yelled out Oscar, but the tunnel's loud as fuck from the dryer and the machine and shit, and he was like, Austin? And I was like, yeah.
Oh my god, you just said yes?
And I just left it at that. And then over the next like week or so, that dude kept calling me Austin. And I was just like, yeah, that's cool.
You're so dope.
But to me, that's so funny because to me, it's kind of just like, even if that was my nickname, then it's like, that's okay. Oh, I've also had a nickname of fucking Billy, and I'm not going to explain that one. But it just goes to show, like, I've had lots of nicknames from a lot of people.
But it's not the GOAT.
But lots of nicknames from a lot of people, all sorts of different shit, right? So then that dude kept calling me Austin, or he would, like, refer to me as Austin. And he's like, oh, yeah, fucking Austin, blah, 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 blah. And then people were like, who the fuck is Austin? And he was like, that guy.
I was about to say,
like,
they probably thought that guy was crazy.
Like, that guy with the fucking Camaro. And they were like, this dude? And they were like, yeah.
Oscar?
And he was like, Oscar? And he was like, his name's Austin.
You're like, yeah, look, Austin. And you all turn like, yeah.
And then they come up to me and he's like, yo, this guy keeps saying your name is Oscar. And I was like, it is.
You're like, this guy, oh my god. That's so like, funny. He was like, this asshole doesn't even know your name.
He was like, what the hell? I thought you said it was Austin. I was like, no, you said it was Austin. And I just kind of let you, like,
Did he laugh, or was he just like, this fucking
He
weirdo?
kind of chuckled a bit, like, what the fuck? Like, it was just weird. So, anyways,
No.
nicknames are cool.
I bet he still remembers that.
I don't know. Nicknames are cool, but
wait.
that's what happens with me is like if I make a new friend and
He
that
has
person,
to really be Austin. You know?
yeah, like if I make a new friend and that person gives me a new nickname, in my head, it almost feels like an opportunity to be a new me. You know what I mean? Which is stupid.
But that's meeting anyone new. Like,
Well, yeah, I was gonna say that. Though. I think that's just the thing about making new friends in general, because like new friends don't necessarily know your history and they don't know who you've been or where you've been, and so then like there's no kind of judgment on what you are now, right? Like I made that one friend in college, you know which one, the chick, and I had told mom, I was like, it's cool because when I talk to her, it's like I'm not Oscar, the dude who used to this, who used to that, who used to this, and is now this. You know what I mean? I'm just Oscar, and that's just kind of it. You know what I mean? Like there's no questions as to like what happened to this or how did things go with
so
that,
much.
or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's just nothing. It was just I was just me.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that shit was cool. So anyways, nicknames are cool. I also have
Speaking of
I have
nicknames,
2 nicknames that I've thought of. Hold on. I've thought of for myself that nobody calls me, and I would actually be really okay with a lot of people calling me that. But anyways.
But he's not gonna tell you because you have to come up with it yourself.
Yeah, but if I tell you to call me that, then that shit's like if I
then
I
he's
made
just
a new
a fucking
friend.
loser.
Nah, yeah, exactly. Because if I make a friend and they're like, oh, your name's Oscar, and I'm like, yeah, but people call me this, and I give them a new nickname that nobody calls me, then they're gonna call me that shit, and everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck? And they're gonna be like, he said that people call him that, and they're like, nobody calls this dumbass that, and then I'm really gonna be a loser in front of everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, loser. Anyways,
go ahead.
Oscar, speaking of nicknames, he is, as you can tell, he's particular about him. Like he is most things. But
that was unnecessary.
Thinks it's really, I know it was, but like, was I wrong?
I said unnecessary, not untrue.
Like I said. Anyways, he thinks like just shortening someone's name is such a lazy way of like getting a nickname. Like
that's what Hannah calls me. She calls me Osk. I hate that shit.
Yeah, that's the one. And I don't know if you heard me earlier, but I was like, oh, like you started talking about nicknames, and then I was like, oh, Oski or whatever. It would be hilarious if you got into a relationship and like,
and that bitch called me Oski.
And she called you Oski. Like, it's one of those things where, like, if she called you Oski, like, in front of, like, us, like, I don't know how Mom and Big O would react or if you've had this conversation with them, but for sure, me, if I hear her calling you Oski and you're just like, yeah, babe. Well, throw up in general. But I would just be like, this fucking pussy whipped motherfucker. It's all like, yeah, it's okay. You can call me Oski. You know what I mean? I just thought that would be a funny scenario to, like, happen one day. And I would give you shit endlessly. You know?
That would be funny. But nah, I ain't doing that shit.
I need to stop putting my arms up because I put deodorant on. And so, like, you see, like, you know what? Actually, no, I have one more topic. Well, it's 2 more because I just thought of something right now and then I wrote something earlier. But, you know, things that are embarrassing that shouldn't be embarrassing. When you put on deodorant. No, I'm telling you. Listen.
Oh.
Anyways, when you put on deodorant, and then you have still, like, the deodorant, like, white bits in your armpit.
Yeah, I get
it. Like, I don't think you'll get that so much as a guy, but, like, as a girl, I don't know. It's something.
What little white bits?
Or, you know what? It might just be a me thing,
what little white
to be
bits?
honest. These ones.
Just the fact that you can even see it on there, or what?
Yeah, which it shouldn't be embarrassing. Like,
hold on, I don't.
It shouldn't be embarrassing because it's something that's like
how you so easily just fucking did it. You just said it was embarrassing, and then I'm like, which ones? And you're like,
because I'm trying to not be embarrassed by it. Because I feel like if I assert my dominance, like, yeah, there's white things. What the fuck are you gonna say about it? I put deodorant on, but like on the inside, I feel like, oh my god, don't look at my armpits. You know, assert dominance. Even though I'm saying that I'm insecure about it. But that's okay. Anyways, Oscar, we were talking about this like 3 or 4 episodes ago. Icks in men. or in people specifically. Who icks in like a romantic interest, right?
Yeah.
Icks. I found one.
One of yours?
And I think it makes me an asshole.
It does. I think icks are kind of inherently like unreasonable. You know what I mean?
I thought about this.
Because if it's like you said, if it's reasonable, then it's a red flag.
Yeah, that's true. No, I don't even know why this wasn't something that happened recently, and I was like, no, for whatever reason, my mind was like, hey, you remember that? Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I do remember that. But there's this guy that I was talking to. We won't get into more than that because it makes Oscar uncomfortable. My love life. Yeah, see? How? But I was like super into this guy. I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, like super into it. And then like, he was a very attractive person, right? Like face or whatever, but he had really skinny fingers. Like, they were really skinny. And I got so grossed out. And I felt so bad. I was like, what? Like, cause he had like a big, he had like, think of big hands, right? Like proportionate size big hands, but then with skinny fingers. Like his palm was big, like they were long, like, you know what I mean? And it just it tapered. Like it wasn't like all one size, like the fingers, like it would get smaller at the tip. Like they were skinny, like getting skinnier at the tip. And I was just like, brother, And I was like, oh my God. And then I don't know why, like, I didn't stop talking to this guy for that reason. Like, there were other things that ended up happening and just didn't work out or whatever. But I got the ick. And I was thinking, and I don't even know what I was doing that made me think about this the other day. But I thought about it and I was like, oh my God, I have gotten the ick. Oh my God. And like, yeah. And I thought about the guy with the list. And it's like, don't be funny don't or don't be like, fingers, whatever. Don't have skinny fingers. But like, I don't know. I like it's so funny because I can still like vividly like remember them.
They're like burned
and
into your memory.
And I still get the ick by it. Yes. And I'm just like.
You think of them and you're like, brother,
brother, But yeah. And I got really excited when I remembered because I was like, I'm gonna tell Oscar. Like we were talking about this. And I thought I was, yeah, right? And the thing is, I think I'm like reasonable because I know that like.
At least you know that you're the asshole.
I'm aware. Yeah, like I am aware.
That's the biggest thing. I think that's the thing. A lot of times, like if you have a problem or if you're a bit mean or hypocritical or this or that, it's like being aware of it or self-aware is like it goes a long way where it's like, okay, I know I'm the asshole, but this is honestly how I feel, or this thing bothers me, and it's like, yeah, that's fucked up, but at least you feel bad about it, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
nobody's perfect. Is, like, it's not like they can't blame you for not being perfect, but they can blame you for not caring, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, but I can't fix it though. And like, honestly, I don't know, because I wonder if it would have ever got like if things didn't end the way that they did and like they worked out or whatever, and I was with this guy, I wonder if like
even in your head you'd be like, don't touch me with those skinny ass fingers.
I wonder if every time I looked at his hands I would be like grossed out, or if it would have gotten to a point where like I love this dude so much where it's like it
hands, you know, held his hands, it'd be like you had little fucking pencils between your fingers and shit. Like,
yes, and that's how I noticed because he held my hand.
That's when you noticed.
Yes. And then I was just like, huh. And then I don't remember, what was it? I don't know. Like, I think I was just like messing with his hand. Like I was doing it as like a way to like kind of like an excuse, like, cause you know how like sometimes you'll just like mess with like you'll just like, nah, whatever. And it's like romantical and cute or whatever. But I was like, no, I need to investigate. And then I looked and I'm like, oh my God. So it was just like interesting. So I wonder if like, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's funny.
Anyways, I found a Nick.
That's
apparently he's still in my nightmares, you know? Yeah.
Hey, you're talking about this
here?
You're talking about this here, so I have to assume we're cool to make a clip out of that.
Oh, no, yeah. Like, no. Oh, yeah. For sure. No, yeah, fuck that guy. But I hope he knows it's about him. But yeah, that's funny.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What?
That's crazy. I'm trying to think of something like that for me, because I don't know if there's things that are just an ick or if I'm just not attracted to. Like, right? Like fucking. Because I think there's a difference. Like, I think an ick, it has to be, again, like I said, it has to be unreasonable. It has to be like, I don't know why it bothers me. It doesn't even make sense that it bothers me, but it does. It does bother me. You know what I mean? Unless it's like the only other ick that I understand that's fairly reasonable is like the whole kind of I don't know what girls call it, but I've heard it be referred to as like falling off your white horse, which the idea is like you have this image of
like
who
you're
he
perfect,
is,
but then like
you have this image of who he is in your head.
I feel like that's more of a your fault thing than his fault thing, though. To be fair,
yeah, when he breaks it,
like
is when he falls off the white horse, right? So like, if you meet a guy and he's cool and everything's cool and you like him and he's this and he's that and whatever, and then you hang out with him and his friends for the first time, and then you see a different side of him where you're like, oh, he's friends with those types of people, or he makes those types of jokes. That's him falling off his white horse. That I know that happens all the time.
No. I was gonna say, like, real talk. Look at who that person is friends with.
Yeah,
like,
because that's pretty
like
indicative.
Fucking real talk. If they're and if all of them, because it's different if you have a group of friends and there's one that's like kind of like
yeah, we've
like,
known him for a long time.
All
like...
of we can't really get rid of him. That's whatever. He kind of grows on you like a tumor or whatever, you know.
Right.
But no, like if all of them are like major red flags, like, you know what I mean, then it's like, ooh,
there's a theme here.
Run. Yeah.
So it's shit
like
what
are the chances that that guy you're with is the one good guy in the group?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they're all assholes. But
so that's
with,
the
like,
same
girls.
type of shit where like I can understand how that's kind of an ick in the sense that like you see him this way and then he does something and then it breaks that image in your head that he's not perfect, and then you're just kind of like, the new image is not one that you like. But that seems reasonable to me, so I wouldn't necessarily call it an ick.
Like, yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can get that.
But
But also I feel like it with that specifically, it can also be like the person who's creating that image in their head. You know what I mean?
Sometimes
they just,
that
like,
could be unreasonable
really
too.
like,
yeah, you get ahead of yourself.
You know what I mean? Like, they could really like get ahead of yourself, yeah, and you're like, oh my god, he would be a great father. I can tell, even though I've never seen him or have any talks with him about children. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's kind of like,
exactly, yeah.
You know?
Anywho, so I'm trying to think of icks that I could talk about for me, but honestly, like, I don't think I have any really, because like, there's shit like,
you have one, you just haven't remembered that you had it.
Yeah, because no, that's what I'm saying. Like, the shit that I've thought about, they're just conventional like attraction things. Like, I'm not super into crooked ass teeth, like real fucked up crooked. Like, I'm like, I have like a little bit of fucking crooked that I can deal with, right? Because like, I don't want to be a hypocrite, but real
Oscar,
fucking,
I have a question about teeth.
It's not working for me, but I wouldn't call that an ick. You know what I mean? Like,
I have a question. Can you see my screen right now? Like, can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can't see you. I haven't been able to see you this whole time. I don't know why.
No, what the fuck?
But yeah, it is what it is. But no, picture it. There's this woman. She's walking down wherever you're walking at. She's perfect, right? She's got an hourglass body, a big badonkadonk, big jugs, but not too big to where it's too much or fake, right? Naturally pretty. You can't tell if she's wearing makeup or not, right? But like, it's gorgeous, like smooth skin, perfect sized lips, like is the girl of your dreams. And then she smiles, and you go through it from side to side, and it's like straight, and then there's just one tooth that's crooked, that's like up like that, like they're all flat except one. It's like that. Would you date her? Or would it be too much? Would it be like, oh my god, like every time? And like, when you guys kiss, her tooth is like, is rubbing up against your lip. It's always in your mouth because it's just like, ah. Could you do it?
This is funny for a number of reasons. This is funny because of the way you tell it, but it's also funny the scenario a girl paints for a guy if you know the scenarios that guys paint for each other. Like, you think you're giving me this really tough scenario right now? You have no
No,
idea
no.
what guys tell each
No,
other.
no. I'm not thinking of like a quick like.
No, yeah.
I'm not thinking of like a one fuck forever. And like no, there's more. She won't ever fix it.
That's what I was gonna
You're
say.
Like, hey, have you listen? You're like, hey, have you ever thought about like getting braces? You know? And she's like, no, like I used to be really insecure about it, but I learned that I love my body. I love myself, and this just enhances my beauty.
Nah, it depends.
Not saying like if anyone, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it's just like, and like, you know what? It's not even out. It's out and crooked.
That's what I was gonna say. Like straight out, like that's fucking crazy. How do you even do that? Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Straight out is a lot.
Or would it be that thing where you're like, hey baby, let's wrestle, and then you like accidentally knock her tooth out or something, and you're like, I'm sorry.
Yo. I didn't even know that as a thing. What the fuck? You sound way too familiar with that. Fucking.
No, yeah.
I would normally be like, well, it depends on her personality, right? Because if she's a crazy bitch, like, then get out of here. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's not working out. But just on that, I don't know. I'd have to see it. Because in my head, it's pretty crazy. But it depends on, like,
it's crazy.
I don't know. It sounds crazy.
It's crazy.
I might tell you
when her lips are closed. Listen.
That,
Let me tell you how crazy it is. When her lips are closed, you see a little white thing popping out. It's like the end of her tooth. Because that's how much it's like sticking out. Yeah.
How's she do it?
But it's just one tooth.
Fuck. I don't know. It would depend on her personality.
No, because like what you were saying, like the whole fucking thing, like, or no, what you're saying, the whole guy scenario.
Let me tell you.
I know if it was just a one-time fuck, like, yeah, like that's just
scenario.
like a yes. Oh, tell me a guy scenario, but make it for a guy.
No,
I did with the girl.
This is how simple it is. Hold on.
Oh.
Let me tell you when the guys tell each other.
Give me scenarios.
I know for a fact people have asked each other this question. Guys will talk to other guys and be like, hey, would you fuck a girl without a nose? And they're like, what? And they're like you ever see like burn victims and shit where their shit gets all fucked up and they just have a fucking hole in their face? That's the question guys present to each other. Like, would you fuck a girl without a nose? I bet
they would say yes, because like doggy style or something.
Then the guys are like,
very much like a.
And then the guys are like,
look at it.
Hold on, are the lights off? What are we rocking here? Can we just kind of whatever? And it's like, I don't remember what the answer was. Where it's like, nah, you got to look at that bitch. And it's like, how does the rest of her look? And she's like, bad as fuck. And they're like, yeah, I'll do it. Fuck it. Like that type of shit. So. Your whole tooth thing, I'm like, you're in the fucking minor leagues here, Sofia. Like,
no, that's why it has to be a relationship. Because I think it's very different, like being in a relationship with someone versus like just fucking. You know?
Yeah.
Boys are gross. I know that. Like, feel like the answer is gonna be yes for most things. Like, I feel like it has to be really, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways.
All right, Sofia. What if? Because Sofia likes pretty guys, right? She doesn't like rugged.
I like them pretty.
She doesn't like rugged.
I like them big.
Hugh Jackman looking ass motherfuckers, right?
Sexy.
No, what the fuck are you singing?
You haven't heard? I'll send you a TikTok with that sound. It's like I like them big. I like them juicy. Hold on, I'll send you.
Is that the Moto song from Madagascar?
I think so, yeah. I think Moto likes you.
Yeah. Fucking. Anyways.
Which is not my type, but like I don't know why it made me think of that.
Anyways.
No, I honestly,
pretty guys.
Actually, I was gonna say my tastes have been evolving a little bit as of lately. I still like pretty guys, but
you're a little more.
I've been getting the whole rugged. I've been getting the whole rugged appeal more and more recently.
You mean you're growing up? You're not a fucking child.
Maybe.
Anyways, I was gonna say
my frontal lobe is developed.
He's pretty. he's this. That's because I don't even know necessarily what you would like. Because I can't go. Because I think the stereotype for like perfect girl is different than the stereotype for perfect guy. Because I don't think there is a stereotype for perfect guy. Because girls are fucking gross and they like all sorts of guys. You know what I mean? Like you could be like tall, and then a lot of girls will be like, ooh, tall, but then some girls will be like, don't really care. Right?
I feel like a pretty safe bet with tall. Because, like, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, tall, like 6 foot, whatever. But for me, personally, if you're taller than me in
It's just
heels,
taller
or at
than
least
you.
my height in heels, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
You know?
And then like, I don't know if I like, because I don't think buff is going to work. Anyways, you fill in all the
Buff could
fucking
work.
blanks. You fill in all the blanks for you, right? Pretty, taller than you in heels. Not crazy buff, but not super scrawny, skinny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice hair, whatever that means in your head. Nice voice, whatever.
Oh, deep voice, that's a good one.
Deep voice.
Like a nice voice. Like...
Deep voice, nice hair, dresses well.
Mm-hmm.
But he has long, skinny fingers.
Oh, God!
How did you not see that coming?
No, I really didn't, honestly. Like, when you said long, I was like, oh,
You were like,
what?
what is that?
Yeah, but like when you were like saying the stuff,
You were like,
fuck.
yes.
I don't know, because that guy was an asshole, so
There
he
was
gave me
more
an
to
easy
other
out.
things.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I never had to figure out, like,
You never had to face
how much of
them.
an asshole I was. You know? I never had to make that hard decision. I think,
Dude, that was
like...
Here's the thing. You told me to paint you a scenario, and I had no idea what to make the bad thing. And then it clicked. I was like, oh, just do that. Like, duh.
But
then I was like, fucking duh. Like, how is she not going to see it? You know what I
call
mean?
back. Yeah. What's it called? How's their personality? Like, they're like A1 or like
I was just
rate...
gonna say perfect.
Like,
Because
is
I don't
it...
know what you would prefer. You know what I mean?
Is it like A, like grading wise, A, B, C, or D, or like A plus? You know,
Let's say a solid B plus. Like he's not perfect.
B plus,
He's not Well,
Ooh.
maybe A minus. Like he's not perfect.
A minus.
There's definitely room to improve.
I could swing with,
but he's solid. You know what I mean? It's just good.
I don't know. That's so hard.
That's so funny.
I don't think I would approach him. I think if it was like a thing where like, cause I hadn't noticed it. Like we were already like however long in, you know, and then I was just like, oh,
what the
like
fuck?
you know what I mean? Yeah, but I you know what? Yeah, how did I not know that like how did that not come to my head? Because I feel like every time like there's ever been a potential interest partner, like that's one of the first things I look at now. Their hand,
Oh my
like
god,
subconsciously.
you're fucking. Oh my god, you're crazy.
Like,
Dude,
yeah,
people are gonna start
yeah.
sending you hand pictures, like if they're fucking nudes. You know what I mean? Like,
They're like, ew.
this is my boyfriend application.
It has the gloveless fingers, like, or the fingerless gloves. I mean, the gloveless fingers. The fingerless glove ones, like, ooh, how are my fingers? That's funny.
Okay,
No.
let's move on from this for two reasons. One, we talked about it for a while.
Enough about fingers.
Enough about love life, right? Two,
Love.
I still haven't told you the other topic that I've had for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen How I Met Your Mother?
I've seen clips on it on like TikTok, but I've never like seen a full episode as a whole.
So,
but I do know like certain stuff about it.
I've received mixed reviews, right? The upperclassmen, when I was a freshman in the drumline, they swore by it. They said it was the funniest show ever. They fucking loved it. It was amazing. Blah, 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 blah. Big O fucking hates it. Mom is like, that shit is whack. I tried to watch it. Didn't laugh at all. Whatever. Stupid, right?
And now you have your...
Hold on. And I'm like...
Hold up.
I've often thought, because I've seen like that 70s show, and I've seen like we were big Rick and Morty fans and big fans of this and that and whatever, right? Or like Family Guy and South Park. We haven't seen Family Guy and South Park very much. I've seen South Park a little bit. I've seen Simpsons a little bit. But I've often thought, I'm like, I know that those are known as like not edgy shows, but a little meaner, a little tough love, a little dark humor. You know what I mean? Like they kind of... Yeah. They push the the boundaries of it a bit, right? In one way or another.
Yeah.
And so then I've wondered, I'm like, what the fuck do people watch if they don't watch these shows? Like if they don't like them? Like all the fucked up jokes that Rick and Morty makes, people that really genuinely don't like that, what the fuck do they watch? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like
Friends.
we've also heard
Friends.
of like the Big Bang Theory and fucking this and that and whatever.
I tried watching that, but like,
and Mom and Big O don't like it. They're like, that show's stupid as fuck. Like it's whack, right? And then I had a realization within the last like year. I'm like, oh, all the cool kind of a little more cutthroat shows, South Park, Rick and Morty, whatever, Family Guy. You know what I mean? Shows that make fun of everything, shows that are rude, shows that make fun of fucking marginalized members of society, all that type of shit. You know what I mean? I was like,
yeah,
what the people that don't watch those shows, what the hell do they watch? And then I figured it out. I was like, oh, they watch Friends. They watch The Big Bang Theory. They watch How I Met Your Mother. They watch this, they watch that. And I was like, all the white people shows, right? I'm like, that's what they watch. That's why my parents don't like it. And I probably wouldn't like it either. I don't know. Then I discovered something. I was in the living room, chilling. And all of a sudden, Josh turns on the PlayStation, goes over to Netflix, goes to my profile, and he puts on How I Met Your Mother. And I was like,
your profile?
Well, because our Netflix is logged in on my PlayStation.
Oh, okay. I was like, huh?
In the living room, it's my TV, my PlayStation, our family Netflix. I'm logged into, whatever.
Gotcha.
So a lot of things on my profile, Josh is watching. He puts on How I Met Your Mother, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, you've seen this show? And he was like,
you like this show?
I was like, you've seen this show? And he's like, it's fucking hilarious. And I was like, what the fuck?
He's one of them.
And he puts it on, and it starts playing. How many times have you ever heard Josh laugh out loud? Audibly. Like, like out loud. In the last 10 years.
I can count. In the last 10 years. Only whenever he's like...
It's rare as fuck, right?
Yeah.
You can't even, like, it's so rare, you can't even remember, and you're not here saying, like, oh, he laughs all the time. No. Josh does not laugh out loud very much at all in our regular day-to-day lives. This motherfucker laughs out loud, Sofia, multiple times per episode with this fucking show. And he we were watching it, and I started seeing like the kind of jokes that they make or the way they go about telling the jokes or this or that or whatever. And he fucking like laughs out loud, and I'm like, is Josh white people? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
Is Josh a white woman?
And I was like, what the fuck? And he was laughing at the show.
Was it funny though?
And
but
enjoying the show.
You were watching it too, right?
Hold on. So I was watching it too. So then the last week or two, me and Josh have been here a lot, and he keeps putting it on over and over and over. And I'm kind of like watching like while I'm trying to edit videos or trying to do this or trying to do that. Here's the thing. A lot of the jokes fundamentally are funny, but the way they execute them are sometimes a little overdone, or they're like a little corny, or they're just kind of like childish when they're supposed to be like in their late 20s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not petty, because I think petty is a little childish, but like just straight up childish.
Different.
So like there's a bit of like this and that with it, but then we kept watching and shit kept coming up and they kept making different jokes. And eventually I was like, oh, that's fucking funny. And I started laughing at jokes. And I was like, am I white people?
I a white woman?
But some of them, it's kind of like, okay, this is ridiculous. Or this is like fucking, it's too much. Like Barney is one of the characters, and he's supposed to be this like man slut womanizer, right? And then sometimes,
isn't he gay in real life?
Yeah. And then sometimes,
it's funny.
They kind of like reveal his elaborate scheme to get in some woman's pants. And it's the most like ridiculous, over the top shit that like I don't think anyone could imagine would ever be real. And it's just too much. Like it's too ridiculous. It's too over the top. It's too like, I did this. Like he's a fucking secret agent. Like he's a spy or some shit. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's just too much, right? But then they have
Yeah.
this other shit where they were making a bet and they were like, oh, let's do a slap bet, because they were trying to figure out how much to bet, and they were like, let's just do a slap bet, and it was like, all right then, and then they're like, what's a slap bet? And it's like whoever wins gets to slap the other person in the face as hard as they want, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? And then they go about the episode and they're doing this and whatever, and the shit unfolds, and he immediately turns and slaps the shit out of him, like doesn't even give him a brace or nothing, and that shit was fucking hilarious. Like, it just looks funny.
Hilarious.
And then like it's revealed that the other dude was wrong initially, and it's like, oh shit, now you get 3 slaps because he slapped you prematurely. And it's like, ah, fuck. And then boom, he fucking slaps the shit out of him and shit like that, where like they kind of throw the slaps in, like, oh shit, they kind of throw the slaps in out of nowhere, like, boom, you weren't even ready for it. And that shit's funny. Or like there was one, and the thing is, this show was made back in the day when you were still allowed to make fun of certain things, right? So like, there's like, they make fat jokes.
There's some racy jokes.
Not fat jokes, but just like, oh yeah, I was dating this girl and then she gained 40 pounds, and I was like, no thanks, whatever. And then they all kind of just laugh it off, right? So then there's one point where like I was telling Big O, I was like, this is funny, and this is exactly the type of shit you would laugh at if you gave it a chance. He's talking about like, oh, we need a new assistant at our office because the old lady quit. And then it's like, oh, why'd she quit? And it's like, oh, it's kind of a messed up story. And then they cut to the office, right? And they're all like, the dude and his coworkers are walking by the assistant's desk. And then she she pulls out a big ass fucking Tupperware of lettuce and like fucking chicken and this and that. It's like a big ass salad. And then the dude who's telling the story, he turns around with his friends. He's like, oh, sick. You brought lunch for the whole office? And it was a big old fat girl. And it was just lunch for her. And she fucking was like, ah! And she started like crying and ran off. And I was like, oh my fucking God. That's so fucked up.
Nowadays, that joke nowadays.
No way would they approve that nowadays.
No,
but those are the gems you find in old shows and old movies, where he was like, "Oh, sick! You brought lunch for the whole office." And she starts crying and she runs off and shit. And I was like, "Oh my fucking God, that's fucked." But I get it. That's funny. You know what I mean? I was like, I laughed my ass off at that one. But that one, I called it right away. Like and that's the other thing is like, some of the jokes are pretty obvious. It's
predictable.
Where like she pulls out the big ass fucking salad, and I'm like, oh my God, it's just for her. And so shit like that. And so like, I've been laughing more and more. But the main thing is,
I've heard
is that Josh laughs a lot at that show.
A lot.
I want to tell Perkins.
You need to watch him.
Because me and Perkins have said before, like, when certain friends are around, Josh is a little more talkative. Like when Andrew's here, Josh talks and is way more chatty than he is with us, right? And so I want to tell Perkins, I'll be like, yo, look at this shit.
Watch.
Look how much this motherfucker laughs when we're watching.
You guys are going to be like behind, like eating popcorn, just watching like, Josh laugh.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. Oh, but that's another thing that I've wanted to talk about. And I mentioned it right now. I forget how different times were, because when you watch old movies and old shows, there's all sorts of jokes that you just wouldn't see today, and they're great because they're still funny. You know what I mean? They're still funny, and this, like, come on, like, if you just stop taking everything so seriously and just be a little more lighthearted and like just understand that it's a joke, it's like, it's fucking hilarious. Like I was telling Celeste the other day, the Emperor's New Groove, where he gets turned into a llama and shit.
Oh, yeah. I was there when you were telling her this.
Well, I'm going to tell these guys. There's a scene where Cusco and Pacha are trying to climb up the, like, fucking ravine thing, and then he's trying to, like, support him or, like, pick him up so he can grab the little branch so they can escape. And he's fucking holding him up with his llama neck like that, right? And then he fucking goes, he's like, it's a good thing you're not a big fat guy, or this would be really difficult. And he's fucking holding them up. And I laugh my ass off at that shit. I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny. But that movie came out in the 2000s where, like, those were the jokes that you made. You know what I mean? It was fucking hilarious. It's really good. It's a good thing you're not a big fat guy, or this would be really difficult. And then, like, I was watching Robots, right? That movie's fucking amazing.
Robots is funny.
I was watching Robots the other day. And then it's the scene where Fender's head falls off and they find him in the trash can. And they're like, Fender, what the hell are you doing? Or have you lost weight? Whatever. And then Rodney comes along and he's like, hey, that's my foot. Blah, 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 blah. And then Fender's like, that's the guy that did this to me. He's the one that fucked me up. Blah, blah, blah. And they point at him.
Yeah.
And then Piper, the sister, comes along. She's like, you think you can mess with my brother? Hey, you're kind of cute. And then they cut to one of the other family members. And he's like, Piper, could you behave yourself? Like, just for saying he's cute. Yeah. Acting like it's this whole fucking, like, would you fucking behave? Yeah. Like, you fucking...
Yeah.
That type of shit. Oh, it's fucking funny. Or, like...
It's so cold.
I was watching Shrek a little while ago, and there's a bunch of shit in there where I'm like, oh my god, that's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I love Shrek, though. Shrek's a classic. No, yeah.
So anyways.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if you watch
Old
any,
movies.
like, older... Like, even if you watch Mean Girls, like...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The OG, compared to the new one that they made.
Yeah. All right, Sofia, hit the outro.
And we learned that Josh and you are white girls. And, yeah. Next thing you know, you're going to be tanning all red in the sun. But anyways, that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked it. Yeah, that's about it. Like and subscribe. And see you next week. Oscar, wave bye. I can't see if you're waving bye, so you better be waving bye.
I am.
Okay, cool. I feel like he's not, but that's okay. I'll wave bye for the
I got a burp.
Ew.